Hello, hello. It's so exciting to watch this group grow. Just over the weekends, we now have like 4 more women that have just joined this group. There are 40 of you now. Woo woo. So exciting. I think you would all know who I am, but just in case, Angela Quinteros. Christian life coach, mom to 3 young men. I don't even get to say 3 boys anymore. They are 20, 17, and 14. My 17-year-old just went to prom on Saturday for the first time. They looked gorgeous, had a great time. My 20-year-old is taking his real estate license exam on Thursday, so growing up there. And then my 14-year-old is about to graduate in 4 weeks from 8th grade and move on to high school. And like kicking off within a week of graduation, he's already going to start training with the high school basketball team. So it's like so much growth is happening, so much change. I know May is a super busy, crazy month for pretty much everybody. Especially anyone in the school system, anyone who has kids that are in the school system. And so I wanted to jump in here right and kick it off because if this hasn't already happened to you yet during this challenge and or just in life in general, I guarantee it's going to happen to you at some point, either in this 30-day challenge or in with regards to some other commitment or goal that you make for yourself. And especially when you find yourself with positive momentum, highly motivated, seeing changes, positive changes and impacts. So it's not you, it's not even like a mind game that is keeping you from honoring the commitment. It's more like life just lifes. It's lifing, and things don't always go as planned. Case in point, my day yesterday. So as you ladies know, if you've watched any of the videos in this group so far, even before kicking off this 30-day challenge with you guys, I was already about 20 days into my own personal challenge of 100 days of daily devotional time using the 100 Days of Believing Bigger devotional with Marshawn Evans Daniels. And then when I started that devotional, I really felt God leading me to add in daily movement of 30 minutes or more. So the minimum is 30 minutes, whether that's a walk, yoga, stretching, sit-ups, a combination of all the above, jumping jacks, gym time, riding a bike, whatever it is. It can be anything as long as it's, for me at least, as long as it's intentional. 30 minutes of moving my body in a way beyond just normal day-to-day tasks, right? So, and I am on day 34 today. Feliz Cinco de Mayo, by the way. I just realized today's Cinco de Mayo. Oh well, you can tell. And so for me, I'm on day 34 of the 100. And yesterday was day 33, and it was the first day in 32 days that I did not achieve my movement goal. I did do the daily devotional. I had a plan for when and how to achieve my movement goal. My plan was, my boys were all going golfing or doing other things. So like all the boys in I'm the only girl in the family. Everybody had a plan for the day until like mid to late afternoon, around mid-afternoon-ish. And so my plan was go to church, do my grocery shopping and get my car washed, do a couple errands, and then come home, put the groceries away, go to the gym, and then come back and start doing all the meal prepping that I typically do on Sundays to set us up for the week. And that was my plan. I had it. I was ready for gym time. I was excited for it. I love going on Sundays after church, either before or after church, because hardly anybody's there. It's amazing. So I had the plan, should have executed perfectly, and then life happens, right? Side note, that particular Sunday morning, God and my dog woke me up earlier than usual. So I was up at around 6, and usually on weekends, my husband and I don't get up until like around 7. Which is sleeping in for us. Church starts at 10. I leave the house usually around 9:15 to get there a little bit early to help with greeting and welcoming and all the things. Anyways, just to give you context, I was woken up, I really truly believe, by God and my dog at like 6. So I just took him out, did what he needed to do, fed him, and then just decided to stay up instead of going back to bed. And so started my devotional time, and then finished my devotional time, looked at the clock, I still had plenty of time, my husband was still asleep, so I just started reading on my phone. That's where I read books most of the time these days, especially if I am reading, like, I like to read Christian fiction, Christian romance fiction, Christian suspense fiction, because it's just easy, mindless things that I can do, like, while I'm on the treadmill at the gym, on the bike at the gym, or out on, like, you know, when you're waiting in line at a doctor's appointment, or wherever it at, like, just to, like, kind of fill time, and when you're waiting for things. And for me, I prefer to do that instead of, like, scrolling social media for a long time. So I had started just reading my book and just enjoying my coffee. And I felt like the Lord kind of saying, you should get your walk in now. Like, yeah, it's a little bit chilly out, but, like, the sun is up. Nobody else is up. Like, you just go get up. And I was rationalizing not doing it because if I went and go change clothes and put on my shoes, I'd wake up my husband. That was my rationale. And I was pretty cozy on the couch with my coffee and my book, right? Like, let's be real. So I didn't do it. I did not follow the nudge. And then we go to church, or I go to church. As soon as church service ended, I got a phone call that gave me some very tragic news. An acquaintance friend of mine was the victim of a murder-suicide in my local town. Super sad situation. They have 2 daughters that found them both in the home, dead. And for those of you that don't know, I live in a really small town, so we're a close-knit community, and needless to say, even though I'm not one of her best friends or super duper close to her, like, it was a shock. And so immediately I go into, like, I'm getting messages from other people. I go to I'm still at church. I go to the pastor. I let him know what happened. He doesn't know the family, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just good to let pastors know when things happen that affects the community and people in your church community. And another, like, church member had also just found out, who lives in my community. And so we gathered together and prayed. And then that just kind of set the tone for continuous prayer. I could not get this family off my heart, and just the senselessness of it, the tragedy of it, the girls, and wondering, like, oh my gosh, how are they going to survive this? How are, you know, like, praying. And in the midst of all of that, like, still went and did my errands. But as you can tell, even now, the energy just shifted, right? And so I was at church longer than I thought I was going to be, with good reason. And then when I got to my car after church, I sat in it for like 15 more minutes and just put on some worship music and continued to pray by myself for this family. And then there was some text coming through, stuff on social media showing up, and I don't typically go on Sundays, but, like, when something like this happens, you reach out to people that you know were close to that person, and you offer to pray for them and to be there for them. And that's what I was doing and prioritizing. And I think you know where this is going, and I'm going to try to wrap it up. So basically, priorities shifted. And so when it hit 7:45 and I was finishing cleaning up dinner, and I realized, like, oh, I didn't get my 30 minutes today. I don't get to put the pink star on my calendar. I was like, I didn't hit my 30 minutes today. I had 2 choices. I could force it and just make myself at least go out for a walk, or put on a YouTube video or something for 30 minutes. Or I could skip it and just recognize that sometimes life changes and you need to reprioritize and shift. And sometimes you need to be flexible with yourself, with your commitments, with your goals, and give yourself grace, and always be prayerful about how to prioritize and how to respond. So I did. I just quickly prayed to God and was like, God, if you want me to honor this commitment of 100 days of movement by getting out the door right now, I will do it. But if you want me to just recognize that this is a time to acknowledge shifts in priorities and continue to rest and be with my family, then that's what I'm going to do. And God clearly was just saying, it's okay, Angela, like, release that pressure from yourself, just rest. And I know that you have all been in similar situations before. And like I said, if you have not, you're going to be. This happens. Life happens. When we have all the best intentions, what is that verse about we make the best plans? Many are the plans before us, but the Lord determines our steps. I had a plan. It wasn't that I was just trying to fit it in wherever. I knew exactly where I was going to fit in my exercise for the day, and I was pumped about it. And then the Lord has his own plans. He makes the steps. And so I wanted to just really quickly read for you out loud the verse that I put already as a post. So I put up today this week's anchor verse and prayer for the week. And the way that that works is I highly encourage you to meditate on at least this one verse, if not other verses. The challenge has 2 or 3 verses to meditate on as tasks, and you may just be in the habit of doing this in your own time with the Lord. But the way that the weekly anchor verse works and the weekly prayer works is that that is something that you should be revisiting every day throughout the week to help you stay on track with your commitment to this challenge, to help you tune in to God's voice and his direction and leading during this challenge. Because one thing I want you to take away from this is, like, if you have to shift priorities, they should always shift in the direction of prioritizing spiritual growth and God first. And so for me, that had already organically happened, right? Like, I had already shifted into full-on prayer mode. Just like, even when I was meal prepping and grocery shopping, I was still here praying, like, here for that family, for the people affected by it, for her close friends, for the sisters. And so and it was so cool to see my friend Kayla posted this verse, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, this is the truth from God's word that supports what I felt led to do yesterday and my decision to not force the 30 minutes of movement, even though I had that, like, I was so committed to this goal, and I could not wait to get to the end of the 100 days and say, I did not miss a single day. But you know what? I recognize if this could happen 2 or 3 more times between now and the end of the 100 days, which is not till July 10th. And if that's the case, imagine getting to the end of it and being able to say, dang, 97 out of 100 days, I moved my body for 30 minutes or more. That still is amazing, right? It does not, the fact that I didn't do it yesterday does not discount any of the work that I put into it before that, and it does not discount or derail any of the work that I'm putting into it now, right? So here's that verse. It's from 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. And it says this: physical training is good, but training for godliness is much better, promising benefits in this life and in the life to come. It is always a good thing to physically train our bodies, to keep our bodies healthy, well-oiled machines that can move and that can allow us to serve God and do whatever God calls us to do physically. But training for godliness is much better. Always put spiritual growth over physical growth. And when you do that, you're not even putting it over mental or emotional growth, because spiritual growth supports your mental health, supports your emotional health. It's like spiritual growth is the linchpin. It is the foundation, right? And so if you ever find yourself needing to shift priorities, plans didn't go as you thought they would, pray to God, seek his guidance and direction, and always prioritize the spiritual over the physical. Okay, blessings. I pray that this is an amazing week for each one of you. Engage in the comments. Let me know, what challenges are you planning to tackle this week, or pop in and create your own post. I would love to see pictures of you completing your challenges. Keep engaging like we did last week. When I was getting tagged on social media, I love that kind of stuff. So if you're posting about these challenges on your social media, tag me. On Instagram, I'm at what am I? Oh my gosh. Faithful and Fierce Coaching? Yeah, I'll put it in the comments. Oh my gosh.